In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the rear lower control arms on this BMW 328i. These are going to be located at the base of the rear suspension. Let's get into it. Now we're going to remove the wheel. Use a 17mm socket. Take these lug bolts out. Before I take the last one off, I'm just going to hold the wheel on so it doesn't fall. Take that off, grab the wheel, and pull it off. Now we're going to disconnect the level sensor from the control arm. Use a 10mm socket, and there's a nut on the back side. And then a 9mm wrench. Put that on the stud. And loosen that nut up. Take that out. Pull that nut out and pull that arm off. Just set that aside. Now I'm just going to use a pull jack temporarily. Just raise up on the suspension right here while we take the two lower shock bolts out. Using a 13mm socket, take these out. And lower the pull jack. Now I'm going to move the pull jack further out here. Put it in a location where it's not going to slip off the control arm. You don't want to have it on that angled part right there. Now before you take this nut and bolt out, you want to just mark where the washer is. It is a cammed washer, so when it turns, it's going to adjust the alignment. If you mark that with a marker, then when you put it back together, it's going to be closer. You're still going to need an alignment afterwards, but it'll at least get you close. Use a 18mm wrench on the back side. 21mm socket. Take that off. I'm just going to use a punch. Just tap this bolt back. Now that we have the bolt loose and ready to come out, because it's on the driver's side and the way this exhaust is set up, we're going to have to drop it down. The bolt will not come out that way. So on our vehicle, we're going to drop it down. We're going to remove this plate, use a T50 socket, take these screws out. That plate down. Where this bracket is at the transmission, we're going to take these two nuts off. I'm going to use an 8mm wrench on the bolt, 13mm socket. Take that off. You can do the same on the other one. Those out. You take the bolts out as well. There's little spacers on the back. Underneath the exhaust, I'm just going to use a pull jack and just support it right there while we take the hangers off. Now we're going to go around and disconnect the mounts from the exhaust system. There is muffler hanger pliers that work really well. If you have those, you can use those. If not, do the best you can. Sometimes a pry bar or even two pry bars. And just prying them will work also. It's just not as easy. Pull that off. Out of the way. Do the same with the other ones. Right here with this mount, we're just going to disconnect it, the bracket. It's going to be easier. Use a 13mm socket. Take this nut off. That's good. That's loose. And there's a bolt in the back. For this mount, you can go through this hole right here, this access hole, use an E10 socket. That bolt out. Now we can lower the exhaust down just enough so we can get that bolt out. Pull that out. Now before we lower anything down, you want to loosen this nut and bolt. Use a 21mm wrench on the nut, 21mm socket. Loosen that up. You can take the nut off, but just leave the bolt in there for now. Yeah, I'll just slowly lower this down. You're going to take the tension off the spring. Move that out of the way. Oh, the shock mount is stuck. All right, that's loose like that. Now we can take this bolt out, pull that out. And I'll just take a pry bar, just pry the shock mount forward. You can release that, and then it'll come down. Pull the spring out. And take the lower control arm down. At the base of the spring, you'll have the insulator. You want to grab that, pull that off, pull that out, and transfer that over to the new one. You slide it in place, same as taking it out. I take the spring, slide that up, take the control arm, get this in place. Get the shock lined up. Take the bolt. Get the bolt started. Now using the pull jack, just raise up on the control arm. That lined up right there. And get the bolt in. Put the washer on. And get the nut. Put the nut on. Use the wrench. I'm going to get the nut just snug down so that it's pushing on the cammed washer. All right, I can move. It's tightened down. Now you want to get your marks lined up. I have a mark down there and a mark up top. That looks close. Now just make sure the suspension is close to ride height as possible. Actually going to lower this down. I'm going to move the pull jack from right here out here, then I can get a better angle. Raise it up. That's good. That's about ride height. snug that down. If you need to, use the pry bar, pry everything into the right location. There we go. Now take the shock bolts, get those started. Now I'm going to torque these bolts to 40 foot-pounds. I'm just going to move the pull jack out of the way so I can access the other bolts. Now I'm just going to raise up on the pull jack. Get this as close to ride height as possible. Good right there, and put that nut on. Snug that down. It is recommended that you replace that nut and bolt with a new nut and bolt. You want to torque this to 73 foot-pounds and then an additional 90 degrees. And then 90 degrees. If you don't have a torque angle meter, do the best you can. And we'll torque this nut and bolt to 73 foot-pounds. That's good. Now take the level sensor, get this lined up, and get the nut started. And we'll tighten this down. It's good. Now lower the pull jack. Nice and slow. And we're going to reinstall the exhaust. I'm just using a little thin coat of silicone spray. Just make it easier going together. Raise the exhaust. Get the mount lined up. There we go. That's good. Wipe off any excess. And get the other mounts on. Now line this up. Put this nut on. Snug that down. I'm going to take this bolt. I'm going to go through here. And I'll tighten that down. Now we can lower the pull jack. I'm going to take this plate, get that lined up, get the bolts started. And tighten these down. Now take the screws, and we have these spacers that are going to go in the middle. Get those lined up. Put the bolt through. And get the nut started on the back. And I'll just tighten these down. Alright, that's snug. Do the same on this one. Snug it down. After finishing this installation, it's important to have an alignment done on your vehicle. Now I'll put the wheel on, get that lined up, get the lug stud started. The other one's on, snug those down. Now we're going to torque the lug bolts to 80 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Go around again, double check.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.